It's just a couple minutes after our start time, but.
Yep. Yeah, we do. And we do have a quorum.
All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Thanks for coming, everybody. This is our second digital version, right? Teams version of the Monroe North Tifa meeting. So I was reminded, back at our April meeting when I was reviewing the minutes, that was the first Monroe North Tifa Teams meeting that I led. Kind of strange. And so the times are still strange. They're changing and still strange, but welcome everybody. We thank you for your participation. The first item on the agenda that we need a motion on is to approve the minutes from April 8th. So I hope everyone's had an opportunity to review those. And if so, if we could, thank you. We could get a motion for to approve the minutes.
This is Rick Leonard. I'll move approval.
Thank you, Rick.
This is Kay. Support.
Thank you. Are there any questions or clarifications from anyone? All right, then I call for a, Amanda, will you do a roll call vote?
Yeah, actually, well, there's an echo. If you're
Yeah,
not.
can you make sure everyone's on mute if you're not speaking, please?
Great. Great. This morning at DDA, I believe the only thing we need to do is roll call for attendance, maybe just to make sure everyone's microphones are working. And then as long as someone has motioned and there is a second to support, then we do not need to do a roll call for every motion. We just need to ask if anybody wants to nay or abstain from the vote.
Okay, thank you, Amanda, for that clarification. So should we do a roll call? We didn't do that at the call to order, sorry. Do you want to do that?
Yes, let's do that. Jim Baldwin, are you in attendance?
He's here. I think he's
Here. I'm here.
Great, thank you. Sean Beal.
Yep, here.
Mayor Bliss. Is the mayor on this morning?
No, I don't believe she's able to make it.
Okay. Eliana.
Yes, I am here.
Deidre.
Here.
KM.
Yes, I'm here.
Jane. I think I saw
Yes, I'm
you.
here.
I love your background.
Thank you.
Carl. Is Carl Kelly on the line? Mark Roy.
Yes, I'm here.
Jim Talon.
Present.
And Rick Wynn.
Here.
Great.
All right, thank you. Sorry for that clumsy start to this, but thank you, everybody. So we have a motion and and support to approve the minutes from April 8th. Is there anyone a nay or an abstain? Please speak now. All right, that motion passes. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the financials, and we've got them up on the screen. So Jana, appreciate if you'd walk through those with us.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. You have on your agenda packet today the financials through March 31, 2020. So the first 9 months of your fiscal year ending June 30, 2020. Because of the irregular meeting pattern, the TIFA's financials are prepared on a quarterly basis. So that's why these are as of March, even though we're already in June. As I said on the cover memo, the city treasurer has distributed both the winter and the summer tax increment revenue capture. So that is good to go. The city treasurer will be decreasing those captures by any assessment appeals that were successful in impacting the 2019 property rolls. So you can expect that there will be a slight decrease between these sets of financials and the June 30 financials. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report. Expenditures are lower than we would expect at this time of year, and you are not in danger of exceeding your FY20 appropriation authority. So with that, I'll ask for any questions or for your approval on Statement C, which serves as your warrant.
All right.
This is Jane. I'll move approval on Statement C.
This is
Thank you.
Deidre. I give support.
Thank you, Jane and Deidre. Are there any questions or any clarifications? Then we will assume everyone approves unless you either say nay now or say that you abstain at this point. So hearing no one, the motion is passed. Thank you. The item number 4 on our agenda is the adoption of the FY 2021 budget. And if you remember, this is kind of a long process where we develop the budget and then it goes to the city commission. And once that's approved, it comes back to us to adopt. Correct, Tim?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. So yeah, the TIFA board approved their FY21 budget back in April. I then presented it along with the DDA budget to the City Commission on April 28th. It was approved unanimously with no changes, and so now it comes back to you for adoption prior to the beginning of the fiscal year on July 1.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to adopt the budget as developed and presented and accepted by the City Commission from this board.
This is KM, so moved.
Rick Wynn, I'll second.
Thank you, KM and Rick. Is there any questions or clarifications from anyone? All right, then, absent any nays or abstains, this motion carries and passes. We'll give you a minute to respond if you have a nay or abstain. All right, thank you all. We're moving right along here. The fifth item on our agenda, number 5, is the Dash North Memorandum of Understanding. And I think everyone on this group has been part of it for a while now, so you are familiar with this. It's something that Monroe North had desired, and I didn't look at my notes and my memory. It feels like COVID-19 has ruined my memory. I can't remember dates now for anything. But it feels like about 6 years ago, Tim, is it that we started the Dash?
I believe it was actually, the initial MOU is December 2012.
8 years ago. See, I told you my memory's bad, guys.
Yeah.
So since 2012, at that time, the Monroe North Business Association and the DDA at that time, and the city, I think it was Parking Services was the name at that, had identified a gap in connectivity with Monroe North and the city and started the Dash, and it has greatly improved. The usage has improved, and now the schedule and route has improved. But this group has supported that since its inception, and this is an extension of that. So Tim, go ahead and take it away. What we're trying to do here.
Yeah, and that's a great introduction. I think the service is really served both the Monroe North area, but also downtown incredibly well over those 8 years. And, there's been some changes to routes and added infrastructure along the way. But at the core, the Dash service itself, we think is incredibly important. So the action here is just to approve the TIFA's share of the FY21 expenditures for the Dash service. So as outlined in your memo, and as with last year, the overall amount that the TIFA contributes is $80,000, and so that is a request before you. That is a budgeted amount in the FY21 budget that you just approved. And as you see, the DDA also contributes, and then the city carries the bulk of the cost associated with it. With that, I would be happy to take any questions or entertain a motion.
Hey, Tim, this
Rick
is
Wynn, I'll
Deidre.
move approval.
Go ahead, Rick.
Sorry. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Rick. Deidre, go ahead.
Sure, I'll give support to that motion, but then I do have a question. Are there any changes to the Dash route that you know of, or any changes to the service at all coming up for this year?
So the service, as you all, I'm sure, saw, and I touched on in the memo, was interrupted temporarily. It did resume back on May 26th. The The current expectation is that the service that is resumed right now, so that's from Monday to Saturday, with operation until 10 p.m., will remain in place for the foreseeable future. The Sunday service that exists is not going to start back up right now. That has historically been the lowest ridership day. And so we'll continue to evaluate it with the city and the Rapid to understand if and when we can change, when it makes sense. But for now, we think that Monday to Saturday service will stay in place. The hours may begin to increase here as things open up, but at this point we don't have a good schedule on that. So some minor changes. The route itself is not changing, but the service operation hours has been tweaked slightly in response to COVID.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Rick and Deidre, for the motion and support. We'll ask now if anyone, we'll give a minute, if anyone is against it and state nay, or if you abstain, please abstain. So not hearing any, that motion is carried. Thank you. Number 6, bicycle infrastructure improvements. Mark, I think we've got you. I think I saw that you joined. You want to go ahead with this one?
Good morning and thank you. So this is a budgeted item in your fiscal year 20 budget, and so we're bringing it to you right before the end of the fiscal year. We've been working with the City of Grand Rapids on a variety of initiatives related to bicycle infrastructure and pedestrian safety improvements over the last few months. And if you've been watching the DDA meeting, we've been requesting a few items from them as well in regards to this. So this is very similar to some of those. We really are looking at a couple of different initiatives within this package. So the first one is related to improvements to some of the bicycle infrastructure that is in place on the street, mostly in regards to paint at this point in time. And we're really focusing on 2 intersections, one at Monroe and Newbury 6th Street. And this is about painting basically green bike boxes at those intersections, which provides a refuge for bikes to make a left-hand turn in a safe fashion. And then also the same thing happening up at the curve where Monroe bends into Ottawa and Colebrook. So both of those are part of this request. And then the last item on this request is to purchase 50 bike racks and also the associated concrete pads that would go with them for installation. And then also a repair stand to be placed in Canal Street Park in the future. So with the painting aspects of these 2 requests, we anticipate that would start immediately or very soon and be completed by the end of June. So we're on a very aggressive time schedule with the City of Grand Rapids. And then as far as the purchasing and installing of these racks, that would be, we would be purchasing them as soon as possible. The city would then store them and deploy them incrementally over the next year in strategic locations that they're still assessing. And I make a note that in this case and the other cases where we are buying racks, we're leaving it somewhat open-ended by saying at least 50 racks. That's going to be dependent upon the types of racks that we buy. They'll either be U racks that you commonly see on the streetscape, or in some cases potentially racks to be installed on parking meters that don't have enough street space to accommodate the racks. I think in Monroe North, we're really probably focused more on the U racks than the bicycle or the parking meter ramp post-mounted ones. So that's sort of in a nutshell what we're requesting here. It is an amount not to exceed $50,000, which aligns with the budget item in your fiscal year 20 budget.
And Mark, these would be consistent with the streetscape guidelines that were developed, correct?
Yes. So in Monroe North, the U racks are plastisol polyvinyl coated, so they're black. And so that's what we would be purchasing, or what the city would be purchasing and installing in Monroe North.
Thank you. Does anyone have additional questions for Mark? We're awful quiet today. So do we, I would entertain a motion to support this expenditure from our budget.
Talon will move approval.
Thank you, Peter.
Jane will support.
Thank you, Jane. So okay, so again, if I'll give a minute for anyone to state that they're opposed with a nay or abstain. Absent that, the motion is carried. Thank you all. Appreciate it. All right, Tim, next is your report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So a couple things I wanted to touch on and highlight for the TIFA board. First, I think a few of you, if not most of you, have become aware or participated in the discussions around the social zones in downtown. And so that's work that our team and Mark in particular have been really focused on over the past few weeks. Monroe North is an area that we are looking and planning to deploy a social zone in. And Mark is actually probably packing up right now. He's got to move to another conversation with the city. So we have these concepts in place. There's 4 total zones in our downtown area. We are finalizing those plans. We've had a lot of conversations both with the city and business owners around what they could look like and how they could be activated. And so we're finalizing those this week with the hope that we can have them approved shortly thereafter. So we'll continue to keep you up to date as we learn more, so that you understand and the businesses in Monroe North and the residents can know what's happening. But just wanted to share that work is continuing and has really been a focal point for ours over the past 3 to 4 weeks, and it's taken a lot of work. So quick update on that. In addition, wanted to point out the Women's Way murals that you heard about a few months back, back in April. That work is still planning to happen and is scheduled to be finished up here towards the end of the month, if not early July. So one of those murals will be going in up in Monroe North, and along with that, there's some alley work that and improvements that you all approved. So you should see that happening shortly. 2 other things. One, not specific to the Monroe North area, but hopefully something you've seen. We have been working with building owners as well as artists around town to paint images, murals, messages on the plywood that has been put up to cover some of the damaged windows as a result of the incidents a couple weekends ago. And so that has, we've seen a tremendous response both from owners as well as just the artist community. We had 230 artists sign up to participate. Many of the artists are already being contacted about how they can sell the work that they did. And so overall, it's just been a really, I think, positive spin on an otherwise unfortunate incident. And so again, we're happy to see that. There's more work that'll happen over the next couple days. But if you haven't been downtown recently, and specifically on Monroe Center and Ottawa is kind of where the concentration is, but there are pieces all over. I would encourage you to come down and take a look at those. And then the last thing I was going to point out, and I touched on this at the DDA meeting, but the city has a goal of hiring 1,000 Grand Rapids youth for work over the summer, and so DGRI is looking to partner with them on that. So we're in conversations right now with the city about what that might look like, but suffice to say, we have a lot of work happening in downtown over the summer months, and so we're going to be looking to work with the city and with the community youth to get them to work and give them some good job experience.
So Tim, just a question I forgot to ask.
Yeah.
Is this high schoolers or?
The ages haven't been defined. I think the expectation is, late high school, early, college aged.
Okay.
And we're learning a little bit more, as I mentioned this week. If anyone on the call is interested in learning more, I'll be glad to share what I know as that information comes in.
Yeah, I think we would be.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Tim. Does anyone have any questions for Tim? All right. So it's difficult for me to tell who from the public has joined us in this call, but I would call for any public comment at this time. All right, board member discussion. First thing, Jim, I wanted to apologize for calling you Peter when you made the last motion. I caught your name at the end, and I did not address you correctly. I know that your name is Jim and not Peter, so forgive me.
The minutes will reflect that.
Thank you. Any board member discussion? We're awful quiet today, guys.
This is Jane Geetson. I just wanted to thank Tim and his team for responding at a very difficult time in our history, and just say thank you.
Appreciate that, Jane. Yeah, this has been an unprecedented and challenging few months, and in particular the past week or so. But yeah, I appreciate that sentiment.
Jana, you have your hand up?
I do. Now that the whole board is here, I just want to let you know that the coffee for my retirement will be on July 10th from 10 till noon. And all board members and DGRI staff are invited. This is not a public event per se, so board members and DGRI staff are invited. And that'll be 10 to 2 on 10 till noon, July 10th, on Calder Plaza on the north side of City Hall in the shade.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
Will there be iced coffee, Jana?
You know, I'm not in charge of it, and that's not easy for me. I want to start taking charge and arrange things, but that is not my job. So I don't know. I know there'll be cupcakes. Everything will be individually served, so there's no shared, like buffet style snacks and stuff or treats.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for the invite.
Jana,
Thank you.
this is just a development opportunity for you to let go.
I know, I have to learn how to do that.
So the other thing I've been thinking about is hopefully our next meeting we can actually hold in person, right? That the situation will be such that we can hold it in person, but we'll have to see, right, Tim?
Yeah, we certainly hope so. We're obviously monitoring the executive orders. The extension of the Open Meetings Act to allow for virtual meetings is through the end of this month. We're not sure if that'll get extended beyond, but we'll continue to watch and make sure everyone's aware. But hopefully, yeah, we hope to see you all soon.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming. Our meeting is officially adjourned.
Thanks, Sean.
Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
Sean.
you.
Good to see
Thanks,
everyone.
Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
You're all welcome.